Would I shoot my shot with someone?
I think I would do it.
I did it once.
Oh yeah, okay.
I slid into someone's DMs once.
How'd it end?
Not well. I ended up in a treehouse. I woke up in a treehouse and it was very strange and a long walk to an Uber. I don't know, it was a bad situation, but it started off well. It was just different. It was just different. Let's move on.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yay! Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 8 of the Untitled Podcast. Thanks for keeping up with Jess and I. Jess, what have you been up to this week?
Oh my gosh. Where do I start? This week, Ben brought home a zoo. Literally. So we've got alpacas and sheep and pigs and 3 massive dogs now in our front yard.
Okay, so are you guys moving more into like farm lifestyle or do-tell?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think he is, definitely. But I think it's a good thing now because there are coyotes and all sorts of things out here that I think those animals can kind of keep us hopefully shielded from. And they're also really cute, so I'm kind of falling in love with them. I went and saw the alpacas and the sheep this morning, and they were just really cute, and they were looking up at me like, just love us.
So I feel like people are going to be like, how do you have room for all of that? So you actually do have like stables and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're living on a vineyard, and actually our grapes started sprouting this week as well. So we've got all this land, and we actually have a stable. So I think the area is supposed to be more for horses, but now we have, I think there's like 15 animals just chilling, and it's been pretty interesting. I'm growing to love them though.
God, I feel like it's going to be really expensive to feed all of those kinds of animals.
So we're just housing them here, and the owners come and take care of them. So we just kind of get to enjoy them.
Yeah.
So I'm getting used to it. I didn't grow up around a lot of animals, and Peyton's really my first pet. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will be fun. How was your week?
So what did I do this week? This week is actually, I feel like it flew by, but it was a fun week. I am trying to think about what I did. Just like, wait a second. I have to like go through pictures, like, you know when stuff flies by so fast, I like need to go through my camera roll and figure out like, what exactly did I do this week?
The photo log is the way I understand my whole life.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh. Well, it looked like it was a great week according to my 300 selfies. No. Yesterday I actually took myself on a solo date, which was really nice.
Oh, that's cool.
I went to Le Colonial, which is kind of like an Asian, really good spot here in Atlanta. And I just sat at the bar. And, I love Atlanta as it is in LA, where it's just like such good people watching. And there are always people to be seen. And everyone just looks so cute. And I saw Eva Marcel and her husband, Michael Sterling, in there. From Housewives yesterday. Yeah. And so it's just like, it was just peaceful, and I love their like coconut soup and some fried rice, and I could just sit, I think I was sitting there for like 2.5 hours by myself. They were probably like, is this girl okay?
I've never actually heard about you doing this. You have so many friends, and you're always meeting up with people.
No, but I feel like
I love that you did
it. Yeah, I'm like such an introvert, and so, it's just good to kind of get away, and, especially when you live with somebody, it's like, sometimes there is no alone time, so it's good to just kind of get out the house. Well, you two went on a date this week, too, because you both looked bomb in that selfie. Oh, okay, so yes, we did. Okay, you reminded me of what happened this week. So my dad's birthday was Friday, so we went out to eat. And then we actually went to like a happy hour on Thursday just because he got home early. He had like a medical appointment that got home early, and then we went out to eat. And I left my laptop at this restaurant. I did not even realize it till like midnight when I went to go like grab my laptop. And I was like, where is it?
Your work laptop?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no bueno.
And I was like,
scary.
Is this at Lazy Dog, which is like the restaurant? And I called. They're like, yes, we've got your laptop.
Love that place.
Like, oh my gosh. So at midnight, I'm like driving up there because they close at midnight. And they were so sweet. I'm like, I mean, there's nothing. It wasn't like, my laptop's not like the coolest, biggest, and baddest. So
they're like all these corporate secrets that they're going to steal.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no way.
The other thing I did this week was interview wedding planners. I don't think I even told you I was doing that.
You didn't. This is an Unsettled exclusive.
It is. Exclusive tea right here.
Wait.
It's so cool.
My word.
It's so fun, and I am so impressed by, and I know we talk a lot about, everything's so overpriced, but oh my gosh, I was blown away by my experience talking to these wedding planners and everything that they know about these areas and all of the vendors that they work with. They were incredible. And there was this one wedding planner that put together a Pinterest board for me. And I was like, done.
This is so funny because I think we've talked about this before. Like, I was never one of those girls who had a Pinterest board of getting married and this is what I'm going to look like. Like, I think you made one for me and my sister made one for me after I got engaged. And so that I still am like super, I don't really know how to use Pinterest that much, but like, so that's incredible for someone to put together a Pinterest board for you because that's so like your language.
Exactly. And it was curated just so perfectly in terms of the aesthetic that I'm looking for. So it really worked. Like, their pitch was amazing. And I was just like, okay, I'm ready to do this now.
Okay. So last time we talked on the Unsettled podcast, you were going between two locations. Have you decided? Or are you still kind of going back and forth? It's a lot to decide.
We've decided.
Okay, that's exciting.
So yeah, I'm really excited, and I think for me it's more about providing an experience for all my guests, and I think this location is just going to be the perfect place to show them, a little special spot that me and Ben love, and also get everyone out here to California. A lot of my friends haven't been to California. From Chicago and Atlanta.
Wedding. We won't.
I guess I just gave it away.
We won't reveal it all on this episode, but California is a very big state. There's a lot going on there.
That's right.
So lots of opportunity.
Could be wine country north. You never know.
So that's very exciting. That's a big deal. I'm actually going to a bridal show with my mother after this recording.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so we're just going to go down to the Georgia World Congress Center and see the sights. I still don't have all of my vendors. People are probably like, you are insane. My wedding is in July and I don't have a florist, as we've discussed on several episodes.
That's okay, Ash.
I'm going with the flow. I'm not going to be rushed.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It's going to come together. You know it will. And again, back to referencing Paris Hilton's wedding. She did hers in like 3 weeks. So I know you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
She has a few more resources than you do.
Someone whipped it together in a day, and she's like, here's my card.
You need to leverage me more. I'm your maid of honor. So you can be asking me to do random tasks.
Oh my gosh. Like, you know how I feel about that. I feel so bad.
I know. Why are you like that?
I don't know, but it's
I want to be engaged. Well, no pun intended. I want to be in the mix. I have Pinterest boards for like your wedding, for your bachelorette, for your bridal shower. I'm doing all these things on the side. Like, bring me in. Put me in, coach.
Well, I'm the same way. Like, I love doing things for people too, but I hate asking stuff of people. So my mom called the bridal shower. I have my dress, but I don't have my veil. And it was because it was like on a ship somewhere and who knows where. And she's like, Ashley, are you going to call the shop for your veil? I'm like, fine. And finally, I guess she was sick of like asking me and she just called herself. And they were like, yeah, it's in. She could totally come pick it up. And I was like, oh, that was nice. Thanks, Mom. It's just sometimes it's like little things that are just way more overwhelming or feel more overwhelming than they really are when you're kind of in the middle of it. And I'm going on like 6-7 months of planning and you're just like, it's so funny. I was talking to Lindsay, one of our mutual friends. One of her friends is getting married next week in Mexico. And I was with her 2 weeks ago and she was just like, basically had the worst anxiety. She's like so over the planning. And I'm like, dude, I feel ya, girl. And I'm months out. So I can't even imagine like the month leading up to it. I would just be like, no one even say wedding to me. But other girls are so different. Other girls are so different though. And so I guess this is like, I appreciate everyone's perspective on this, but so like I saw somebody on Facebook post like 100 days until we tie the knot, and it's like a
counting down.
Like, and I was like, that's cute. I don't think I would ever do that though. I feel like you would do that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna really enjoy it now that we're like getting into it. But I also, this is what I was telling one of my wedding planners that I was interviewing. I'm like, I would rather just quarterback the whole thing and bring in the experts. Like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I know nothing about this space.
Sure.
But I want to leverage the people that know how to do it best, obviously. Right. So I'd rather kind of leverage others and do less.
I gotcha.
Do less.
You don't want to be
That's my
plan. You want to show up and be surprised.
Kind of.
I mean, that's nice. Like, and I think that there's no right or wrong way to do this, right?
My nightmare is to be like walking down the aisle and thinking about like the place settings for afterwards or something. Like, I really want to just be present. You're
not supposed to. That's what your planner's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my goal, because I know my personality and I will be that guy. So that's why I have to put these protocols in place so that I don't go down.
It's so important to get the right planner too, because another one of our mutual friends, who I will not name, had a planner that she knew, who was her friend apparently, and it was just not like, the planner was telling her everything that was going wrong that day. She would run and tell her. And she's like,
that's
why are you
terrible.
telling me this?
She's like, wait, there's a 30% chance of rain. Oh, 35. No.
She's like, it's pouring.
Run.
Yeah, so I think it's so important to get a wedding planner that like knows what they're doing. So good for you. I've got one too. Mine's a partial planner, but I love her. Like, already.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing, and she's gonna be there the day of and like literally just run this ship, and I don't even want to know anything.
Absolutely. I think that's the way to do it.
Fun. I just want everyone to have fun, you know?
Absolutely.
We got some messages because you put on Instagram, like, what should we discuss? And somebody was like, what was the question that I really liked? Well, one of them was like, she couldn't go to her friend's wedding and her friend is no longer talking to her. And here's what I think about that. So let me should we read it?
Yes, let's read it.
Let's see. Let me get to it.
I have a lot to say.
You've got a lot to say? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see. My friend stopped talking to me because I couldn't go to her wedding. Is this acceptable?
I need more information. First of all.
Here's what. Going through this planning and this process, I do understand. I guess it depends on how close of friends you were, right? Like, and I'm guessing if she's not talking to you, you were probably pretty close. True. Wedding planning is such an experience, and it really is personal. Mm-hmm. And you're not only spending money, you're spending time, and it's like one of the most important days of your life to get married. Right. And I mean, maybe you had a damn good excuse not to be there, but I can understand the hurt feelings. Now, I don't know if it's acceptable. It's a little petty. She should probably tell you why she's upset, but what do you think?
It's so tough because I agree with you, and I think, you want everyone who's special to you together on that day. It's your one day that you get to bring all your people together and celebrate and enjoy. But I do think it's COVID times. Things have changed so much. I think you have to just kind of accept that not everyone's going to be showing up to the wedding. I mean, Ash, this is something you have to think about too. I actually just got a Cameo request this morning. It was supposed to be this bride's bachelorette party over the weekend, and she got COVID. She had to cancel her bachelorette party. It's, times are tough right now. You can't necessarily expect things are going to go off without a hitch. You're going to have guests that come down with COVID. You definitely don't want them attending your wedding. So who knows what happened in this situation, but there's so many things at play.
Yeah, we need more context for sure.
We do.
This is really interesting.
But like I said last week, I had a girlfriend who didn't get a +1, and she didn't go to our friend's wedding, and they're still friends to this day.
And that's fine. And you know what? I would respect somebody not coming because they didn't get a +1. Well, I don't know actually if we were close friends. Well, if we were close friends, you are getting a +1 though. So there's so many like.
It's like,
I don't know,
one of those diagrams with the wedding. It's like, yes or no, yes or no. It's like crazy.
I didn't give everyone a +1, as you guys know, but I did give close friends that, and so that is so hard because I feel like I would expect a +1 from a close friend. But my friend Julie, who said she's like, this is the first wedding I've ever been to where I got a +1. Now she hasn't had a boyfriend in forever, but I was thinking, so now she's kind of trying to find someone to come with.
Oh, I love that. And you're like, are you okay with? Are you okay?
Yeah,
with that?
I'm like, we'll see who she
nice.
brings.
I love it.
Nice surprise. Now, people I'm not that close with, I'm sorry, it's just you.
Okay, so I have to say, after we had that discussion, the next week, when I started looking at wedding planners, there was this one wedding planner that put out there what you should expect for a per person. And I was like, wait, can I change my answer really quick?
You're going to be paying them
you
for people
have to
you
be
don't
invested
know.
in that person, really.
People you don't even know.
Yeah. Now I feel really bad about those randoms I brought.
Everyone's going to get a +1 to Jessica's wedding. Putting it out there now.
I mean, we have to, so we have our number. Mine is 175. And I think Ben has close to 100.
Holy cow, that's a big wedding.
It's a huge wedding.
It's a huge
So, okay, where do you draw the line, Ashley?
Well, for me, and I know you can't do this, but I said no kids.
No kids. We're going to have to put in some sort of parameters around kids at our wedding, too.
Parameters.
For sure.
It's like, let me know which kid you want to bring and I'll prove or deny.
It's going to be like when you're in line for the Batman and they've got like the height. If they're not like 4'5", you're out.
Because kids are great, obviously, love kids. I don't have a ton that are super close to me like you do, so it's a different situation. But I just feel like that is just, in my situation, that adds up fast. Especially for kids I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with the kids thing. So, if you don't invite kids to the wedding, there's a chance their parents won't come. Mm-hmm. And that's where you run into the problem.
Get a babysitter, have a night out. You know, I mean, if you're traveling for the wedding, that's different. But get a babysitter, like just have a night to yourselves.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have kids, so I can't really speak on that.
It's so hard to relate.
Shut up, Ashley. But that's kind of how I would feel like, look at me, I wanted to go on a solo date yesterday. Like, because I just have a fiance. Like, if I had kids, I'd be like, I'm getting out of here.
Bye.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That is something you'll have to decide pretty early on, though.
Could we get some people chiming in, because I need help on this? Obviously, our 2 kiddos are going to be a huge part of our wedding, and they're really well behaved. I also have my 2 nephews on my side, and then Ben has like 20 nieces and nephews on his side. So it's like, if we give 2, then we give 22, and like, but he also has older nieces and nephews who will obviously, be there.
It's
so
hard.
It's super hard because
and people take it personal because if the parents come and then they see other kids and they're like, that's interesting.
Right, exactly.
Come. So yeah, maybe we can get some insight.
Can we get some insight? I would love to just have all the kids there and have a babysitter be there with them, and then they can enjoy themselves.
What does this look like?
I don't know. I just want to make everyone happy, But I think
the babysitter's like, that's going to be $10,000.
Right. Next subject. Dogs. Oh, my dog will be at my wedding, 100%.
I know. You know what? I don't even have a flower girl.
You don't?
So I'm still deciding. No, I'm still deciding what to do with that. But I saw something really cute yesterday, and they hired a ballerina to walk down, like a trained ballerina, and I was like, this is so cute. And she walked down and she was on point, and it was beautiful. And I was like, wait a minute, let me look into this.
That's adorable.
Yeah, isn't that really cute and special?
Yes, I love that.
I think I might do that.
It's something different.
Yeah, I would love some other ideas for that too. I know a lot of people use pets for ring bearers, and I don't think pets can do like the flowers. It's good, but yeah.
I saw this golden retriever walk down the aisle perfectly and like hand off the ring, and I'm like, there's just no way my dog would do that. She's just a hot mess. She's like smelling the buffet. She just lays down, plays dead.
That's adorable though. Okay, so we just want some quick recommendations for New York. We're still kind of on the fence, I guess. Are we booking?
We're going. We're making a game
time decision.
Let's
We're going
just go.
to New York. We're going to a bridal show there, and we want some recommendations from you guys for where to go, things to eat, like just a quick weekend trip. And I know everybody loves New York, so we would like to solicit that.
I've been missing New York so bad. I am in such need of a New York weekend, and I just want to shop all weekend and just go. Like, all about that wedding budget.
The way my budget's set up. I'll be in a hotel room.
Right? No, I mean, I just want to look.
No, I know. I love it.
It's, I'm excited, and I feel like New York is alive again.
It is.
And COVID's pretty much behind us, so I'm excited. I'm not excited about the LA to New York flight that I now have to deal with, but I'm just so pumped for this this weekend. It's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, so we'll be there in 2 weeks. So send us your recommendations and just keeping things moving. We're talking so much wedding today. So I went to go look at engagement bands this weekend because I was like, I saw.
You mean wedding band?
Oops, wedding bands.
Okay.
I don't know lingo. I saw a really pretty ring online. I thought, oh, that's so pretty. That would make a really nice wedding band. And it was at Tiffany. And so I went to the store and I tried it on and I loved it. It was gold and silver, like, and the white gold. And I sent it to my mom and my family, and they were like, that doesn't match. It doesn't look like a set. Like, what is that? It's so bulky. And so I'm just trying to get some insight into, like, what I should be looking for in a band, because I feel like I do want something a little over the top and, like, kind of bulky. But if it doesn't sit flush, is that okay? Is that tacky looking? What do you think?
So I recently went on a trip to Miami with all my married friends. And we went into depth on this discussion, and the bigger and the bulkier and the more expensive, the better, I think, is the conclusion. I love a big, bulky, like, I want a baguette infinity band that's just really bulky, but I also have, like, I don't have a lot of finger there. It's just, like, my knuckle starts, I don't know. So you don't want it to be, like, on your knuckle, right? But
yeah.
I want something that stands out, too.
But can I mix and match?
I think you can mix metals for sure. My friend, Katie, she has mixed metals and it looks gorgeous. She has some rose gold, yellow gold, white gold.
I'm going for it. Gary's like, it doesn't match.
I think so.
I don't even care. I think I just want like a big old, like, I don't know why I do. But I feel like the dainty rings just don't look as good on me.
I have a couple ideas I'm going to send you. It actually has gold and silver. But it just looks really cohesive.
Oh, okay. I'm going to send you the one that I tried on. Well, I tried on a couple.
Are you doing like a baguette infinity?
So I thought initially I would do that. And it's still in my pictures, so I do like that. But this new ring, I'm just like, I really like it.
You have to send this to me.
And even the lady at Tiffany was like, well... she's like, yeah, like some people do wear it as wedding bands. She's like, but you could definitely wear it on your other hand. Like, I think she was like, probably
too much.
She's like, you can wear it on this hand too. I was like, no, I want it here. But yeah, and then I actually went to Shane Company. So I'm just looking and having fun, going out and just looking at bands and just like, because that's exciting.
That's so exciting. Did you, so Shane and Company, is that the one on Piedmont and...
There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple.
I'm thinking of Brown. Brown is good too.
Oh, maybe I should hop in there.
Brown is good too.
I just love going into like jewelry stores and just be like,
it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. I love that Tiffany in Atlanta. That's where I bought those Tiffany champagne glasses for that crazy
couple
anniversary party. And then somebody said that Netflix bought those for me. Ashley, you have to vouch for me. Would I ever go to a party without a gift?
Nope.
It's not me.
Nice gift at that.
It's not me. I got the receipts.
She's got them. Okay. Okay. Speaking of, anything else on the wedding front you want to talk about? While I have you.
Not really. I think we're good.
Actually, there was another really good question I just want to touch on, and I want to get your thoughts on this because I thought it was really interesting, and I'm not dealing with it, but I did think about it. So. This bride-to-be says, I'm paying hotel makeup for my bridesmaids, but one of them wants me to also buy her $99 dress. Advice. So she's paying for the hotel, which is generous, because I'm not doing that. Sorry, guys. She's paying for the makeup, but one of her bridesmaids is like, get this dress too. And it's $99. The answer is no.
The answer is no. That's not my life. I've never had anything paid for. I've been a bridesmaid so many times. I've never had anything paid for. I've never expected that. I've never expected that because I just know it's all, it's not that I'm like, I'm waiting for my time or whatever. It's just you're paying your dues with your friend. Like, you're there for them. You're supporting them. And it's so humbling that they're asking you to stand next to them on their big day, and I think it's tacky. Sorry.
I struggled with the makeup and hair thing because mine alone I think is $1,600, which please tell me if that's normal. I don't know. I feel like it probably is though. And so I was like, wait, should I? And I asked you, and you're like, I've always had to pay for mine, but I am paying for everybody's, like, because I just want everyone to look good. I don't want anyone to feel like it goes back to me not wanting people like
just
feel
for
a certain way.
Yeah, and just for everyone, Ashley is single-handedly like paying for her bachelorette party, paying for everything.
I don't like people like to do. I don't want anyone to not enjoy it because.
But Ash, it's part of it. People want to celebrate you. This is just part of the sentiment of it. The whole thing. We want to shower you with gifts. We want to shower you with celebrations. You don't pay for this stuff. We do.
So I wouldn't buy the dress. I wouldn't buy the dress.
Don't pay for the dress.
I mean, the advice, like, I guess, like, should you have a talk with your friend? Like, what should she do?
It's so weird because I just don't know anyone in my circle who would ever ask me that. So I guess it's kind of hard. I don't know the situation that person's in. Like, are you putting them in a tough spot by asking them to be in your bridal party? Maybe they just lost their job. Maybe they're dealing with some sort of financial difficulty. But I mean, at the end of the day, $99, I'd probably just pay it and move on.
And you're right. I guess if you accept, like, being a bridesmaid, you know, like, what comes with it, and, like, there might be some fees incurred.
Right.
Especially if she's paying for the hotel. I'm just like, dang, was I supposed to do that?
Absolutely not. No, I think that's expected, you know, when you sign up for the job. But I think, too, if you're in a place that you're asking the bride to pay for something, it probably takes a lot.
I know.
So I would probably just pay it and move on.
So jumping back into another DM we got. One you wanted to talk about, Jess. Somebody kind of just said, can you guys discuss friendship breakups? And somebody else said, have you lost friends after getting engaged? And I was like, no.
I was surprised by that. That is, I feel closer to my friends now that I'm engaged because a lot of my friends have been married for a very long time. They have, like, adult children at this point. Like, just getting engaged, and they're like, hallelujah, we're going to have some things in common again. I definitely feel closer to my friends since getting engaged. Have you had a friend breakup, Ash?
I don't think so. Not that I know. Not on my end. So I'll see. I'll see who doesn't come, and then I'll report back. Right?
You're like, oh, wait. I've had a couple friend breakups. So I had one big friend breakup over a relationship, actually.
With a boy?
With a man.
With a man, yeah.
And, so I had this very complicated ending of a relationship. And my ex-boyfriend at the time, well, he was my boyfriend when he started sleeping with my best friend. And
I was going to say, that's kind of warranted, and that was also betrayal. And
it wasn't even, it was like it was my other friend that knew about it and kind of like set the whole thing up. It was unbelievable. But you just know, I reflected on it a lot, and I know my part in the whole thing, and that I think some of the things that I did, she wasn't looking at fondly, and I wasn't really working through those things with her. And she was a friend of both of ours. So she
was like, hey, why don't you get her man?
Right? She's like, I'm just going to set this up really quick because this girl is gone. And, you know, it was unbelievable. Oh, that was huge. Such a tough time in my life, man. Woo.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, breakup, relationship, friendship, and you moved. So relationship, that was a lot.
Yeah, and I moved back to Atlanta, thank God, because then I had all of my friendships, and then I joined my small group where I met Ashley. That's when I met Ashley, and it was like one of the toughest times. That was crazy. But that friend breakup really hurt, and it was just such a huge shock. It was like, what? This was one of my sorority sisters from college, and we had been friends for a very long time. Not like great friends, but friends nonetheless. That one really hurt. And then the other one was just when Love is Blind came out. And great friend. I mean, she was in some of the scenes of Love is Blind. She was a really, really great friend of mine. I still love her to death to this day. But it was just like Love is Blind came out and she was weirdly involved and taking a firm stance on it. And it just rocked my world in the wrong way. And she was just saying some very blunt things. And at that point, I had to just get rid of the things that were making me feel bad, and she was one of them, unfortunately. And I think the feeling was mutual on her end. So it's sad because I still love her and like want the best for her, and I'm always asking my other friends like, how's she doing? And I want her to be so happy, and so it's tough, but it's also like, you know, you're meant to kind of move on your separate ways. It's kind of like a relationship, you know?
Yeah. I feel like, you know, friendship breakups are often harder than even relationships with men or your women, whoever you choose to date, because I feel like sometimes we hold our friends to even a higher standard than those we're dating. You know what I mean? Like, so it hurts even more when
Absolutely.
you have that betrayal from a friend because you're like, you know me. Like, why?
Ashley, that's what was so hard about this when the show came out, and this person was beside me throughout the show taping and knew the exact story that was going on. And that's how much a television edit can do. When one of the closest people to you believes that you're a different person than they thought for years and years and years, that was what was so hurtful, because I'm going, oh my gosh, if she believes, everybody's going to believe this, everybody's going to think I'm this terrible, shallow person, and it was crazy. But friend breakups, I agree. I think they're even harder than relationships. Because with relationships, it's kind of like, well, it wasn't meant to be. My person's out there. Yeah. But with friendships, it's just...
You have to figure it out. You're just stuck, like, thinking, like...
Yes.
Is this me?
Right. Am I a terrible person?
Right.
But, I mean, I've held on to friendships forever. I still have, you know, my best friends from high school. There's 5 of us that still Marco Polo each other all the time. And I've never had a fight with any of those girls. Never an argument, never disagreement, nothing. So I always kind of temper myself with that and just know that, you know, my heart's in the right place with my friendships and things like that. But I don't know, like, necessarily advice. I think if your friendship comes apart, I think it's kind of meant to be.
It's hard to patch it back together, especially when there's just betrayal or things that were said that are just like, okay, how you can never take that back, you know? It's
exactly.
Yeah.
And if a relationship comes between a friendship, I was in this really bad relationship in Atlanta, and my friends were judging me hardcore, and I kept going back to the person. And even one of my very best friends still in Atlanta, she was just really respects me, and it was hard for her to like still be friends with me because I kept going back to this. I think that can happen in a lot of friendships where a relationship's kind of put in the middle. That's never healthy.
Totally. So we feel for you, girl, who DM'd us, because friendship breakups, I wonder if there's like a term for this. They're hard.
They are hard.
We feel for you, and some, you know, these are
sorry about that.
These are heavy instances, but obviously there are friendship breakups over much less, like way pettier stuff. Like I saw this on Instagram. It says friendship breakups are wild because damn, you gave old boy 45 chances, but me, I'm done because I ain't come to the Cheesecake Factory. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we expect so much more from our friends, I guess, you know, like there's people who are mad because you couldn't make it to their birthday or like whatever, you know. Like,
yeah, but but in a relationship, you're willing to just put up with so much more.
They're like, he shot you,
right?
You're like, yeah, but
I would go back though.
Love that question. We got another good DM too. I'm kind of skipping our little story arc around here, so
go for it.
Just because we're on the subject of comments, but somebody asked about dating in their 30s and feeling stuck, and I'm like, girl, we get it. We get it. I'm 33, have never dated in my 30s because I've been with Gary for so long, 5 years, but dated in my 20s, and that was the Wild Wild West. Yeah,
and it gets even harder in your 30s, you know.
Do you think so?
Oh, absolutely. It's very hard in your 30s. If anyone that says it's not is lying.
Well, I feel like people are more stable. That's why I'm kind of like, why would it be harder?
Are they?
I don't know.
I don't know that I would necessarily say that because I think you're more jaded. You can be more jaded in your 30s. You've probably been through a lot more. You maybe trust less. That's my experience anyway, and in my own dating history. But yeah, it's And then you've got the social media dating on top of it. That's become standard.
What is wrong with that, though? So here's my thing. Okay, I haven't been on an app in a long time, but we have friends, mutual friends, who like don't want to be on them. And I don't understand why. I kind of feel like it's 2022. This is where we are now. So if you want to sit at home and wait for a man on a horse to knock on your door, but I feel like put yourself out there. I mean, I do understand there's trash on some of these apps. Like, I totally get it. But there's trash at the bar, too. So, like, why? I don't understand the firm stance against the online dating.
Ashley, God bless you, sister, because you have not been there clearly. You have not been on dating apps.
I know. I met one of my ex-boyfriends on Tinder. I mean, it was back in the day.
Oh, interesting.
It was in 2014, so it wasn't as Craigslist-y as it is now, I guess.
I was gonna say.
But, I mean, I am a firm believer that you never know.
I mean, we have a few friends who have met their, well, now husbands on these apps, so it can work. I just think for me, I have such stranger danger complex that it's just such a huge risk. And it's a risk. Like, I don't know if I'm going to meet this person. Have you seen some of these 2020s? Like, I don't know if I'm going to meet this person and they're going to, like, shank me or something. I don't know. There's just so many things that can happen with social media dating. And you also just know you're one of, 20, 25? I started to realize when I was in Atlanta doing the online dating that there's this process, right? You're in a queue. You're one person, but online you're in a queue. So you're like one person of like 20. And I just always envisioned this, like, I grew up playing sports. I always envisioned this like bench, like at a basketball game. And you're like the sixth man, or you're like maybe 7 or 8. And you start to realize where you're at as you like keep talking to these people or you meet them or whatever.
You're like, am I a starter or not?
Right. Well, and then you go on a date with them. And then you're kind of like you're just waiting. And if you're someone with high anxiety like me, this is just not the game you want to be in at all. So God bless you, Ashley, because you obviously, would do so well with this, but forget about it.
It's a great chance to interview people. You know what you get, maybe not all the time, but like a little bit ahead of time, right? I mean,
I think
would you rather go on a blind date?
Yes, I would rather go out with someone I was introduced through a friend who can vouch for that person. Absolutely. And I think there's a higher chance of compatibility in that situation. Mm-hmm. But I will say, I do have a girlfriend who just moved out to Denver, and she's kind of getting to know the city through dating apps. So she's getting out and about and going to different restaurants and, meeting guys who have been local to Denver and just kind of making friends. And I love that. I think too, I always tell my girlfriends who are going out on dates from dating apps, just imagine that it's a new friend. Don't set your expectations higher than that, and it's all good.
That's so true, because when I used to date, way back in the day, when I used to date, I would always pray to God. I would be like, God, just let me have fun. Like, just let it be a fun night. And so I tell people that too. I'm like, no matter what happens, because I feel like as women, we have such high expectations. And a friend actually got really burned a couple weeks ago because she had really high expectations, and she ended up at a cooking class at Publix, which, if that's your thing, do your thing. But for a date, it was kind of like a surprise, and she had really high expectations.
Oh, I love that idea. I would want that date.
Okay. Well, she did not.
Oh, okay. I love Publix.
Shopping is a pleasure. But yeah, I always used to pray, like, God, please just let me have fun. So no matter what, like, I'm not going to come home and be like you said, like anxious or like down about myself. And
I love that. I love that idea, because once I get an icky feeling, there's no coming back. Once I'm like, ugh, I can't come back from it.
I know you can't.
It's a problem.
I know you can't. And I know. You've cut off many a men. So, yeah, girl, we feel you. Dating in your 30s, I can't really give you any advice because I haven't dated in my 30s yet, but Jessica says it's awful, and so...
Okay.
To you?
No. Thank God for dating in my 30s, honestly, because I could have given up long ago, and settled for Joe Schmo, whoever it was at the time. But thank God for dating in my 30s because I've learned so much. I've experienced and grown, and now I feel like I finally know what I want, and I'm with the person that, I've kind of prayed for and envisioned.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very smart, very prudent, which I think prudent is a great word, taking your time and being methodical and making good decisions. Hang in there and, just know that that person is coming in the right time. But yeah, I've definitely felt so down and out. And then you look around and everybody is settling down and, getting married and having kids. But
that's also
it's
what
tough.
it looks like from outside. You know what
it's
I mean?
Tough.
Everything is such a perception. Like
everything's perception.
Settling down is even happy. So.
I was always telling myself, at least I'm not in a really bad position and like waking up in the morning and feeling like I'm in prison to something. I haven't signed a marriage certificate. Thank God. I still have the ability to go out and meet new people and create a life for myself. So just remember that and just know that everything's happening, in the right time. And
I also wonder. Yeah.
I always love to say, if you're feeling rejected, I always say that man's rejection is God's protection. The right person is coming. I do always say that.
I do wonder though, just because I've worked in media and the older you get as a woman, it's like they're looking for the young, cheap thing to replace you. And I wonder if dating in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever is even harder because maybe men our age are going for women who are much younger.
Yeah, I see that a lot. But I think the right guy isn't. That's just as easy as that, simple as that. Mm-hmm. And when you really find the right person, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of men, and it seems like they're really looking for something long-term with someone that's just in the same experience and mindset that they are. If they're your person. And that could be, maybe it is someone who's 22. That's not your guy. That's the way I see it.
Dating in your 30s. Yeah, there's so many apps too. Like, can't you personalize it to what you want? Like, can't you be like, oh, I don't know.
I think so. There's so many options at this point. I know Hinge is a big one in Chicago. And if you're in Chicago, it's rating men. So I'm very happy for you versus Atlanta. I would never put myself in that situation again. Single in Atlanta. Woo. That's really tough. I don't have a lot of advice for that. In Chicago, just get out there. It's so easy. But yeah, I think on the dating apps, you can really kind of be pretty selective. There's a lot of filters and I don't know. It's tough.
And also, what about shooting your shot? Like, real quick, what are your thoughts on that? Because we do have social media now. You can just DM somebody now.
Instagram's the way to go.
But I wonder, as a female, how do you feel about that? Is that something you would do?
Would I shoot my shot with someone?
I would do it.
I did it once.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I slid into someone's DMs once.
How'd it end?
Not well. I ended up in a treehouse. I woke up in a treehouse, and it was very strange. And a long walk to an Uber. I don't know. It was a bad situation. But it started off well. I slid in someone's DMs, and I was just like, I don't know why. I felt really connected when I saw your picture. This was something I would never do, but I felt so compelled to do it. And now we're pretty friendly. This was back in Chicago, but it was an interesting couple weeks. It was his house. It was his actual house, but it was a tree house.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not judging. People live differently. I just didn't know in Chicago you had the real estate for a treehouse, so I'm just
No, but you had to crawl up to get into bed. And it was just different. Let's move on.
Okay. Watching a 3-part series on kind of the rise and maybe not the fall, but all the controversy going on with Hillsong Church, which is a huge church, international, started in Australia. And I had so many mixed feelings about it. This is something that I've followed for years. I've never stepped foot inside of a Hillsong church. It's just never been my thing. I've always kind of had some red flags with it, but I love their worship, and I've gone to a Hillsong United concert, and it was fantastic. But just kind of watching the documentary, it got me thinking, like, how high, what am I trying to say? Do we hold our pastors and people who work in the church to too high a standard? Or do we not? Because, this mega pastor in New York, Carl Lentz, who was fired after he was cheating on his wife during the pandemic. He's like a celebrity pastor. He used to be friends with Bieber and Haley and just like all of these basketball players. But he was caught cheating on his wife. And I'm like, well, I don't think, not cheating on your wife is too high a standard. But I do feel like he's somewhat of a scapegoat for the church. So what do you think about that? Like people in the church and like the standards we hold them to?
I just ask myself one question, and that is, what would we think if we ever heard anything negative about our pastor Andy Stanley, who we pretty much worship?
We love Andy, and I think I love Andy because I love his style. He's super humble, and he's just very like unassuming. He's just very like, I'm here to preach and go home. You're never going to see him courtside at the Knicks game. You're never going to see him in TMZ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not to say he's not without fault, but I don't know.
We do. We put him on a pedestal.
We do.
Ash, we really do. But I think we need that in my religious practice. I need that. I need to have Andy and the other pastors at my church that I look up to. And I don't know how I would feel if I were dealt a devastating blow that he wasn't who I thought he was. That would be really tough to handle.
Right. Or like, a spiritual leader who's cheating on their wife, and you're like, oh, well, it's like, we know everyone's human, but it's kind of like, oh.
Right. And I have to say, I have attended the Hillsong Church a few times in LA. It didn't feel like home to me, so I stopped going. But it was quite the experience with the musical production, and especially around Christmas time, it was beautiful. And, I feel for the people of that church, because that has to be, hard to take. And now the main pastor has stepped down.
Brian Houston, yeah.
Yes, so that's
huge.
That's really tough, and probably a lot of people are trying to find their church home now and maybe questioning things, and I know...
That's what I hate. I hate that some people, like, I don't want people to see the documentary and use it as an excuse, like, oh, this is exactly, all pastors are like this, or this is why I don't go to church. And it's like, no, most churches are actually not this big, do not have this much money. Most churches have, like, 50 people, like, I went to a little church in Montgomery every Sunday, and literally, I don't even know how to put the lights on. It was just like a little church, and it was so cute. So I just don't, that's kind of what I hated. And there were some generalizations in there. Like they were like, I can't believe they have all these volunteers. This is just like slavery. And this is like free labor. And it's like, well, they're volunteers. Like no one's making them.
Everyone volunteers at church.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't like some of the broad like generalizations, but I was just kind of bummed. I was like, there's a lot of wrongdoing, and sometimes when you get too much power, it's a drug.
Absolutely. And it's too bad that after COVID, it's been harder, I know, for our home church to get attendance back up because people are so used to staying home or getting their sermon on a podcast or something like that. It's hard to get people in there, and people, I think a lot of folks are questioning their faith, whatever, faith that is. And this has to make it even harder to kind of keep things going, and that's
what I'm watching. And what are you watching?
I'm in all these con shows, so I've just been keeping up with the Dropout and We Crashed. So we caught up on those last night, and I've got to be honest, the Dropout is probably one of the best series I've seen.
Give Seyfriend the Emmy.
Absolutely.
She is so good. When she was dancing to the Lil Wayne How to Love, it was so cringy. Yes. I couldn't even watch it. I was just like, this is so embarrassing. Like, I was so embarrassed. And then I was like, ew, I feel like this is how Elizabeth Holmes is. It was
exactly.
So cringy.
And it's crazy to find out that a lot of the stories that are being told in the documentary are actually true. Mm-hmm. So Ian Gibbons, the head of chemistry for Theranos, actually did commit suicide.
Yeah.
Because he was
so tragic.
He was being subpoenaed, and he would have had to tell the truth about Theranos, and rather than do that, he traded off his own life. So So I do want to change my opinions that I first had about this subject, in that I really felt for her that she really wanted to go out and change the world, and, you know, dropped out of Stanford, which is not unlike my CEO and CFO. I think they're around the same age even. Dropped out around the same time, and, you know, our company is booming. So I really feel for her, or I felt for her, but now just seeing some of these things play out, I can't imagine how she lives with herself.
I don't think she cares. Just from what I've seen, she's never shown any remorse anywhere, like at any time. And I know that might be a legal strategy, but there's a way to approach this. How
much do you think growing up with the silver spoon in her mouth had to do with this personality and the heartless nature?
Everything. It's like Olivia Jade, who I love. But when she did the Red Table Talk, she was like, at first she did not see what was wrong with what her parents did. That's what everyone in their circle did. Everyone paid their way into these colleges, or you bought this, that. You know how Hollywood works and people with money. Mm-hmm. She admitted, like, I did not even understand what the big deal is. And she's like, I acknowledge that it's because I grew up so privileged that this was normal to me.
I'm going to be humbling my children, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's just scary.
Mm-hmm. And I think that has a lot to do with Elizabeth Holmes. She's probably like, so? Hopefully she's, thought a lot about it, but...
Yeah, I think she wanted to be a billionaire more than she wanted to change the world and make it so that people didn't have to live without those who died of cancer.
100%.
Oh, Elizabeth, you broke my heart. We crashed. Here's another Emmy nod. We crashed. Anne Hathaway. Give it to her. Just give it to her. Oh,
is she good in it?
She's everything in it. So they're basically highlighting this love story throughout, kind of showing what happened with the WeWork rise and fall, and it's such a good.
Anne Hathaway play his wife, Adam.
Yeah, and Gwyneth Paltrow's cousin, and it's so good. It's
she like
done
start a
so
school?
well.
She's like WeWork school, and like the whole thing is so culty.
Yeah, she doesn't actually work for WeWork, but she goes to the camp. They put on a camp for everyone that works there, and she comes out and says that she believes as women we have to manifest things for our men, and that's our job. So the WeWork employees, most of the feminists, were really ticked off about that comment, and she's gotten a ton of backlash about that. But that's kind of their relationship. She manifests things for him, however that works, and then all of a sudden he's getting like a $4.4 billion investment from SoftBank.
Let me try this.
Right.
I'll report back next week. I'm going to try this. What should I manifest for Gary this week?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to think of something. Okay. You don't knock until you try it, so here I go.
You rub some crystals over him, and
oh my gosh, he'd be like, "What are you doing?" So that I need to watch that. So that's really good.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I thought what did I?
It's
watch?
Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. It's so good.
Yeah, let me watch it. What's it on?
I think there's 4 episodes. It's on Apple TV.
Apple TV. There's so many, like, to keep up, like, I had to download the Discovery Plus to watch the Hillsong thing, and then, like, the HBO. Then
yes.
I'm like, gosh, there's so many streaming things.
I need your Discovery Plus username and password, because I want to watch Heather Young's wedding. She got married to Tarek El Moussa, and they documented their wedding on Discovery Plus. I want to check that out.
Oh, yeah, totally. Let's do it.
All the wedding research.
All the wedding research.
I'm watching one other show.
What?
Station 11. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a post-apocalyptic show based in Chicago. And it's just really interesting. The characters that they build throughout, it's pretty wild. And they show them kind of rebuilding their life. It's very kind of Oregon Trail, but in 2020. Rebuilding their life after 1 in 1,000 people survived this flu.
Cool.
So it's crazy, and it's
not my cup of tea, but
it's really layered and complex, and it's way over my head. But I'm watching with Ben, and I'm like, oh.
It sounds like something Gary would watch, honestly. So I'll
recommend it to him.
Station 11. Okay. All right.
It's on HBO.
HBO. Okay, let's get to our voicemails. Our first one is from Gillian, and let's see if I can play this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Thanks again, guys, for calling in. This is from Gillian.
Hi, my name is Gillian. I am 60 years old, and I watched Love is Blind. You know what? Coming out of, I used to watch Married at First Sight, so I really love these shows, but I know that there's a lot of stuff that happens in the background. So no judgment, Jessica, but what I want to do is, I found your podcast, which has been really, really sweet. And I just want to address the marriage thing. With you. So I am, like I said, I'm actually 3 months away from 60. And I got divorced in 1996. Since then, I have been a career woman. I have raised my children. I have done everything kind of on my own. And I really, I think a lot of people didn't really understand or wasn't getting the grasp of having a companion until 2020 hit, right? And then we were all alone. We were all to ourselves, like sit in the corner and think about what you've done, right? And so now I'm back on the dating scene, which is really weird. Like, you think it's bad for you young people. Holy macaroni. And so much has changed, and something has happened with men in my area that I don't really understand. Anyway, that being said, I want to address the marriage thing to you. So I have always believed, even when I was in my late 20s and I got married, I have always believed that the wedding is between the husband and wife. Like, you get married to that person, and it really doesn't matter about the glamour, the glitz. It doesn't matter about the 600 people at your wedding. None of that matters, because your commitment is to that person, right? So honestly, if I had to do it, when I was doing it the first time, I really just wanted to show up and marry my husband and then have a party afterwards for everybody else. But he wanted to have the whole thing with the dress and everything like that. And by the way, your dress on that show was stunning. Anyways, back to the marriage thing. So I believe that all of the glamour and the glitz and the going out and all of that, if you want to forego that. Like, you don't have to do it just because everybody else is doing it or because it makes good pictures for the Insta, right? Like, just do what comes naturally for you, and just marry the man, because after all the glamour and glitz, like, for some people, they take loans to do that, and then they're starting their new life in debt, which is crazy, right? You're marrying a surgeon, so probably not, but it's just that do what feels comfortable for you, and just literally forget about what everybody else is doing.
Okay, it's a little longer, so I wanted to cut it a little bit, but Gillian, I so value your perspective as a 60-year-old woman on the dating scene again, and who's been there, done that, and even, like, listening to that, I was like, honestly, should I just cancel this wedding?
I know, right?
I can't get the money back, so I can't.
I think about my sweet mommy, who's almost 60 as well. Almost 60? Yeah, she's just about 60. And Gillian, don't give up hope. My mom met the man of her dreams. Gosh, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago now. And I think just out in the community, she's just gotten really involved in a bunch of different groups and met him out and about. And now I call my mom on the weekends. She's way busier than I am now because she's plugged in with her boyfriend. They're riding 4-wheelers around the fields and going to all these parties and things. So don't give up hope, Gillian. And also, I would love to try and set her up. Somehow, some way. Can we manifest this for Gillian?
Yes. New man.
You guys, everybody, let's make this happen. She didn't say where she's from. I felt like I heard a New York accent in there, but
yeah, I wonder if we could track that down.
Yeah, if you have any recommendations for Gillian, please send them in. We are actually going to try and set her up, and why not? But I think the point that she's trying to make, and Ash, question for you: how much of planning a wedding is keeping up with the Joneses and doing it better? And all the weddings that we've been to and all of these, different things that we've kind of collected, right? Oh, I want that cake, I want that dress, or I have to do this bigger and better. How much of it is keeping up with the Joneses versus just having that sentimental day with your future husband?
It's so hard. So I will say, I feel like I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I feel like I'm trying to like keep up with myself. Like, if that makes sense. Like, this is the dress I want. This is what I want. This is what, and maybe that's the problem. It's like, okay, you need to like, and I've kind of recognized that, like, you need to take a step back, girl, because you ain't Paris Hilton. And like, this is what I want. Like, no, I want it to be, I want a ballroom, I want this, I want that. And so I feel like I'm not like trying to mimic anybody, but it's just like, it's my own taste. It's my fault. And I feel like you're the same way.
I think I'm the same way. I've just seen a lot of weddings too. And it kind of sets the standard, right? Like, I know I want this because that person did it perfectly. Why would I want less?
Sure. And you've sent me a lot of weddings, like, oh, this girl did it this way, this girl did that. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And you've sent me like so many suggestions of weddings that you've been to, so that makes sense. But so for me, it's like, yeah, and you like nice things too. So it's like you just said, you're like, I want this planner to take off running.
Exactly.
Like she will.
And yep. Oh yeah. It's not a crawl, walk, run either. It's just a sprint. But I have to say, I was playing this voicemail earlier, and Ben heard it in the background, and he had tears in his eyes, actually.
Aww.
So I think she definitely strikes a chord. I'm sure a lot of people out there. We also had a buddy over last weekend, and we were all talking about weddings. And he had recently gone through a divorce, actually. And he was just saying, like, dude, save your money. It is, you don't enjoy that day at all, which to me, like, I will do everything in my power to enjoy that day. But he was very cut and dry. Save your money. It's about the sentiment, and, you know, you are going to be with this person for the rest of your life, and you're inviting your friends and family to see that moment. I totally get that, but I also want it to be beautiful.
No, I know, and I feel like my situation is I've been with Gary so long, and it's like, dang, can I have a nice day? Like, can I just have a nice wedding day? Like,
you're like, I'm 6 years in. Like, give me all the things.
Like, I deserve this. But I totally hear you, and we've got friends who say save your money too. It's so easy to say it after the fact. It's like you want to do it, and then after you're like, dang it, I should have like redid my bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, my mom is texting. Okay. And we've got one more voicemail, so let's play that. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, Gillian.
We're manifesting that new man for you. Believe that. Now, this is one from Maria.
My wedding dress was $500, and it's definitely the most expensive thing I've ever worn, and probably will ever wear. And I looked and felt beautiful. But if you've ever seen Say Yes to the Dress, then anyone who's seen that show knows that y'all are not spending outrageous amounts of money. It's just, shopping in different ponds, I guess.
Did we play this one before?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard it. Maybe somebody else commented on that too. Yeah, we were talking about wedding dress costs a couple weeks ago, and I now feel like maybe I overpaid a little bit, but I mean, what am I going to do?
Right. This is a good reminder that it's all relative, and some people.
$500 to somebody is probably like, I mean, $500 is a lot of money for anybody.
That's a ton of money. Absolutely. And it's all about how you feel and the feeling that you want that day, and that's really the most important thing. I think the weddings that I remember the most are just when people speak from the heart and you really feel the love between two people. However you want to memorialize that day is totally up to you. And yeah, and I've told you before, Ashley. Well, I said I could tell the difference between an expensive and an inexpensive dress. And then I actually went and tried dresses on, and I only liked the expensive ones. So.
But you know what? There are some great secondhand, which I
love this idea. Love this idea.
Secondhand sites where you wear a dress and you're like, cool, I spent $4,000 on this, gonna sell it for $2,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Love that idea. I was on that. I was actually gonna get one from there, and I ended up just going to a store and finding one. But I mean, I guess there are ways to, if you want that designer gown or that whatever, you can find it like on eBay.
Absolutely. And even when you think about spending $5,000 on a dress, you can also then put it on a secondhand website.
And sell it.
Because why do you need that dress?
Right. Some people like trash the dress. What is it called? Trash the dress?
I'm not into that idea. No, I don't like that. But my dream dress is a J-tone, a couture, which is like a $50,000 dress.
Yeah.
And I was looking at those on secondhand stores, and those were still well over $10,000.
Oh yeah. I know. There's actually I can't remember her, a black designer, and she makes the best stuff. And I was looking on a secondhand site, and I was like, well, no, I want it cheaper than this.
Do you feel like getting something secondhand for your wedding ruins?
Nope.
I don't either.
Nope.
I'm here for it. If anyone out there has anything from their wedding that they want to gift me secondhand, or we could do a deal, let me know.
A trade.
I'm good with it.
No, I know. And you start to realize it's not just the dress you need; it's like outfits for everything.
Oh,
like
yes.
the showers and like the bachelorette party, and it's like, so I'll probably be on Poshmark soon.
Same. I have a girlfriend who's really good at Poshmark. I need to learn from her. Yeah. I actually bought a dress yesterday for our engagement session this weekend. It's
that's new.
V. Chapman from Beholden. Do you know what Beholden is?
Oh, I do.
It's so cute.
They're really popular for bridesmaids dresses too.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I was in the Anthropologie yesterday, went to the Beholden, found this gorgeous dress. I can't wait to wear it. And the material is just buttery and so luxurious. Excited. Yay. So excited. And Ben got this really nice structured blue suit. So I hope they come out well.
I'm sure they will. Amazing.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. There's so many things, like, it's crazy. There's so many.
Just be to cut you.
I just want to keep talking about this wedding so that I can manifest it. Sorry. I know. We're out of here,
We'll keep everyone posted. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in again. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, and to leave us reviews.
We love you guys. Keep calling in. Keep giving us your feedback. Good or bad?
Good or bad. That's right. Bye.
Bye.